Hello, Wild Weather here for LiveWeatherBlogs.com with this video blog update. And here is Sandy right here leaving Great Abaco in the Bahamas. It's moving due north now, 7 miles per hour. Definitely you can see the dry air from the upper level low that was spinning up in here, and dry air has been sucked into the storm. And it's still 970 millibars, so it's still a 75 mile per hour hurricane. It's like a rather sick hurricane, but you can already get the idea. Look at the things, everything's like spreading out here. Very good flow, outflow coming out of the top here. This thing is, this puppy, I would say, Sandy here, is beginning to transform, if you would, from a tropical system into more of a mid-latitude nor'easter type of situation, but it still has a rather warm core going on here with this, so it remains a hurricane. Clearly you can see the clouds fanning out, so as Sandy moves up in here and can get away from some of this shearing going on here, and you see this all this ventilation up here, Sandy will eventually start to strengthen again, probably when it gets up into this part of the coastal areas off of South Carolina. Out in the Atlantic, you can clearly see the blocking going on. This will not go out to sea. You see this jet right here. Look at this. All the way going down with this behind exiting Tony, really starting to block things up, along with the high up to the north. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But clearly you can see that Sandy will not just go out like that. There is no way for that to happen at this point. Sandy will continue to force north, then follow the clouds. You can follow the cloud pattern here off in this direction, and then already you can see the clouds are being pulled back to the west here, and that'll kind of go up to the north there and get pulled back toward the coast. Where exactly that turn takes place is going to be critical for the mid-Atlantic and northeast coast. Let's take a look at the water vapor map here. This is from the National Weather Service. The jet stream plowing in here. Look at these tops of these thunderstorms just blown off. The jet stream just plowing here, and look at this piece of energy just diving in here. This is going to be the emphasis to turn Sandy back to the coast. Look at this big pocket of energy here is just diving southeastward, and that will take the turn, and when it does, Sandy will come hooking in like this. How this is timed with where Sandy is will depend on exactly where this real sharp west turn happens. Is it down in here, or is it up in here? Really no. It's probably somewhere in this 100-mile radius, and I want folks tonight to realize that while the National Hurricane Center has a hurricane, it is more like a hybrid system, and you really should not get too caught up on where this is going to make landfall. Now, obviously, that will have major implications on whether there's major record coastal flooding. Please understand, if this storm comes up the east coast, the wind field is going to expand as it's becoming more of a mid-latitude storm system. Look at this jet stream is just rolling here right up all the way up toward Hudson Bay. And look at this down here. Here's our blocking, folks. Look at this low here and the blocking going on. There's no doubt about it that Sandy has nowhere to go but to be forced back to the west in time. So, again, tonight, if you're along anywhere from the Outer Banks up into Cape Cod, you really need to start preparing for the worst. Some of these models are, coming up with 90-knot winds right off of the surface, and heavy rainfall brings those 90-knot winds right down to the surface, folks. You're talking 60, 80 mile per hour winds, and not to mention this gigantic piece of energy that's going to come down and energize this whole thing. You're looking at quite a intense mid-latitude system. This is not going to be a hurricane where the winds are centered right around the center. This is going to be where winds are spreading out and fanning out, just like you see in the clouds here. The winds, all the effects will spread out unilateral in every direction here. North, west, south, east, every quadrant of the storm. So what I can tell you tonight is just to get ready. Hopefully we won't see pictures like this. Here's the only thing I could find, 1962. This is from north end of Ocean City, Maryland, after the 1962 flood and the ocean came in there. I mean, this is just horrific damage here. we see something like this damage being played out along the Mid-Atlantic and northeastern coast. That is entirely possible. Um, Nothing is out of the realm of possibilities, but I mean, look at this damage here from 1962. This year in 1962, on April 5th, a storm system came up the east coast, and it kind of did a loop-de-loop, but it never really made it on shore. Imagine this storm's gonna come on shore. So this is Ocean City underwater here in Ocean City, Maryland. So the Jersey Shore, Sea Isle City during that year in 1962 from this storm, the ocean actually met the bay, and many parts of Sea Isle City wiped out, just like these homes on the beach here. Look at this. Hopefully we won't see pictures of this. Here's Ocean City, Maryland. Look at this now. Um, it, this is going to be a bad storm, folks. No doubt about it. Let's take a look at that water vapor map again. Watch this piece of energy. You really want to see things come together in a perfect situation, almost like a perfect storm. Tremendous latent heat and energy with Hurricane Sandy coming north. Here's your basically Arctic front, very cold air back in here, and then this big piece of jet energy is plowing southeastward. It's going to come right down into the storm, and then boom, right about here. Very much like a wintertime situation. So, batten down the hatches, folks. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see some wild weather coming up here in the next 2 to 4 days. That's all I have for tonight. This is wild weather for liveweatherblogs.com. Stay tuned to liveweatherblogs.com for further model updates and statements may be being issued by either Rob Garino, Steve DiMartino, Dean Davidson, and also Mike DeFino and Mike Masco. Signing off. Wild weather for liveweatherblogs.com.